This week, I get punted by an Italian, and I look to seek for revenge. It's a pit party in race B as someone goes in the pits. And it's wet and wild at Spa for race C. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo Weekly Race Guide here in 2022. It's week 3, and a bit of an interesting week as you saw at the start of this video. First up though, days until GT7, 46 left to go. It's getting closer and closer. It'll be under 40 next time we do this video. Right, in the background, you can see we're at Tsukuba in the Mazda RX-7. We're going full screaming with the engines this week. But let's have a look at the race details first of all. We're racing 6 laps here at Tsukuba. It's a grid start, and you will need traction control on 1. And we're on the Sport hard tyres. In terms of this video, by the way, timestamps in the background there. So if there's any particular part of this video you want to go to, do check that timestamp because you might only want race C. If you're watching the premiere, you've got to watch the whole thing. But trust me, it's entertaining. Let's jump to this race then, and let's have a look at exactly what happened, including somebody getting 3 strikes. Here we are then at the start. Pop-up headlights. Flash your... If you're not flashing this week, there is something wrong with you. Flash your headlights. Pop them up. Happy days. Right. Traction control on 1 is what I said. Brake balance is -1 for those interested in that. See, I'm flashing. Right, here we go then. And that annoying beep in the cockpit. Hopefully you're not driving in a cockpit this week because you're going to have an issue. Anyway, off we go. Traction control on 1. There may be slightly better ways to start. I'm not too sure because the French driver on my left gets a pretty good start, to be fair. But traction control 1 is a safe one. And in towards this braking zone we go. And we all survive, and it looks fairly okay for now. As we come through here then, and yeah, status quo. Shelty behind. Shout out to Shelty, as always, as we head down towards this left-hander. And yeah, on this one, I always try and stay to the left when I can because of that. Like you saw on the right, we have 2 people heading to the realm already, and we gain 3 positions on 1 corner. Happy days. In towards the right we go with the German on the inside. Gives me just enough room there, but I think forgets I was on the left there. I had to really lift to avoid pitting them to the realm. As we head down towards this right-hander. Now, in the distance, you can see some contact there. I did spot that, but maybe it was a mistake. As you can probably tell by my tone, it wasn't a mistake. I'm sure of it. Anyway, we're going to continue on as the German there just ran a little bit too deep and wide there on the hairpin. So we're going to go down the inside then and retake that P7. In we go. And we can see this Italian up ahead. So I slowed down here. I had to slow down on the apex, unfortunately. I'm going to try and get a run out the corner. The Greek there going a little bit slow as well. But we're still in P7. Looking on the inside here. The Italian comes across there. And we brake quite early here. Just a lot of little movements in the braking zone. Not much you can do if there is contact. The Italian pushes the Greek out wide there, it looked like. But we'll continue on. And the Italian off. So up into P5. Happy days indeed. We're making good progress here early in the morning. But we're about to get rear-ended by that Italian. And it was self-done by the Italian, who then runs me out wide. So at this point, I'm getting very suspicious, put it that way. Anyway, into the right-hander we go. We stick behind the German then, who's made the positions that I made. Beautiful stuff. And we did give the Italian some room on the left-hand side, and they gave me some room on the right. But, oh, maybe it was a mistake then. Well, coming into here, absolutely rammed me seriously off the circuit. And at this point, I knew it was more than just coincidence that this was all happening. So we come out back in P11 now. Let's advance a bit further on. And we're going to go in a lap guide as well as watch the carnage in a second. So heading towards turn 1, I'm looking to brake around the 50-meter board. I'm braking a little bit early here just because I was getting used to the circuit in the car. But as the week progresses, you'll get closer and closer to that 50-meter board. As you can see, I brake early here. And you can see the Italians absolutely punted the nitro there, which is well over 3 strikes at this point now. We've seen a lot of action, so yeah, something's going to happen. Let's put it that way. Anyway, heading towards turn 2. As this curb heads out into the circuit, the point where it's at the most into the circuit is when you brake. So literally, you can see here, I've started braking here at that point, and I'm going to straight line braking all the way to the curb. Now, I actually slowed down a little bit too much there. As you see, the Italian has sent somebody else to the realm. We're going to continue on here. On the right side, you've got the end of that sort of yellow barrier. As that leaves the screen is when I lift off. I don't brake for this. I lift off and I'm turning in at that point. And the car should survive through the corner. You might get a bit of oversteer if you completely let off. I braked there, which was very bad of me because I would have made the corner anyway. But yeah, just lift off there. You will be fine. So we lift off here. And I am going to go for the punt here, but we'll see that in a second. into the braking zone then. We've got the 50 meter and we've got the light or tannoy on the right hand side. Use either of these as your brake marker. Get as close to them as you can. But as we come into here, I see the sign goes wide. So I'm like, perfect. This is perfect punting opportunity. Goodbye, you pleb. Stop punting people off. You are a moron. Please race properly. I actually told them to turn off their PlayStation after the race. So I don't know if they've got PlayStation 5. I didn't type PS5, but I said PlayStation. Anyway, let's head towards the last corner then, where you're looking for the dead grass on the left-hand side there. Literally start braking, turn towards the corner, and the key apex speed here you're looking for is around 75 miles an hour. If you can do that through this corner, you should be golden. As you see, I'm aiming for 75. I dropped to 74, but I dropped to 72 at the very later on there, but 75 you can do it at. And that is that in terms of a lap guide. We advance a bit further on then, where we catch up to Crommy finally again, and they go full oversteer into there. Just be careful about doing that so that I lose a lot of time there, just making sure I don't hit Crommy. So we continue on then. So let's see what we can do. Crommy goes defensive here. So I'm thinking, okay, around the outside, I'll give that a whirl. In towards the braking zone. We go Dinitro, looking on the inside. It was good of Dinitro, by the way, on the punt to give me room on the exit as well, previous lap. So shout out to you for that. And we're going to have some good racing here with Dinitro as well. Look at it, side by side as we head towards the hairpin then. I'm going to brake earlier and I'm going to stay tighter here. Dinitro on the outside. But look at this for a move. Dinitro keeps it round the outside. Still got their nose in here. This is beautiful racing from Dinitro into the right-hander. They're trying to give me space there as well. Beautiful stuff here. I'm just on the left. I lift off here because I've got nowhere really to go. And Dinitro makes a really good move there. Brilliant stuff from Dinitro as we head towards that braking zone. Superb move. Really was. Crommy's just gone a little bit deep there and off the circuit. So we're going to advance into that cursed position once again as we head towards the last lap then. Dinitro trying to go around his compatriot there. Not going to quite work here, and we're looking now down the inside of Dinitro. We've got Arkeys behind. Do check out Arkeys on YouTube as well as we head towards the hairpin then and in towards the braking zone, and it's sort of line of sight. Arkeys looking down the inside. I'm thinking I'll try Dinitro's move. He just clips the curb that bounces him off a little bit, so I have to let off there. Can't quite do the same outcome, unfortunately, as we head into this right-hander then, and through we go. Notice I didn't brake this time. Much more stable. I don't break in that corner. Anyway, heading towards the hairpin then. Is Dinitro going to go for the move? Not quite then. In we go. It looks like Kotaz has just gone a little bit wide on the exit. And Dinitro has the run. Kotaz has had a slow run out the corner. So I'm looking to follow Dinitro here. Follow them through into that P5 position. So we're going to head there now in towards the last corner. We brake. We slow down a lot more here just to give room here to Kotaz. Kotaz just taps me a little bit here. It forces a bit of oversteer, but we're still on the inside. Lots of room given on the exit. Up into P5 at the end. But a huge shout out there to Dinitro. Brilliant racing from Dinitro there. I'm going to argue this straight off the bat. That probably driver of the week in this week's video. Let's head to race B then, where we are going to head to Italy. Welcome then to Lego Maggiore Center, and in particular it's Center 2. So we're doing this in reverse. We've done it once before that I can see in previous, unless I've not updated my track system fully, but it was in Group 4 FFs. And this week the Group 4 FFs are dominating at the moment of filming. That could change maybe, I'm not too sure, but they are a very strong car to race here. Let's jump to the race details then first of all. We're racing 10 laps, my word, that's a lot of laps. Here at Lego Maggiore Center 2. It's a rolling start, which is ridiculous, and we are on the racing medium tires. As you can see, I chose the Scirocco, mainly because while the Megane was at the top, I didn't have a livery for the Megane. I had a livery for the Scirocco, so I jumped into that. And a huge shout out to Psycho Killer 69 for the livery, a part of Driver's Room, of course. And yeah, do check out Driver's Room. They provide lots of liveries, and it's a really good community to be a part of. I say, check them out. That's it in terms of the race details. So let's jump to the race. Let's have a look exactly what happened because, again, some little bit of carnage, but we had some good racing in there as well. We are then at the start. I see a Megane on pole. Megane was top of the leaderboards, as I say. I just didn't have a livery for it. And you see a mixture of Megane's, Scirocco's. We have a 458, and we have somebody being brave in a Veyron. We'll see how that bravery goes down. But in terms of brake balance, by the way, +3. But in terms of the start, look at this. Look at this rolling start. Who came up with this idea? Who's tested this? Like, I'm 2 corners back. Never mind 1. I'm 2. I'm on the hairpin. What a horrible start. I quickly changed to second, by the way, if you are starting on the hairpin. And then through here. We've not even started the race yet, in terms of us. We're not even on lap 1, because we're not even at the start-finish line. But here we go. Now we start. Look at that. There's 30. Oh, I'll stop. We advance to the end of lap 1 anyway. We finally catch up to the Bugatti Veyron, and we're going to look down the inside potentially here. They do defend, but they move again at the very last second there. Didn't really like that personally. There was still a gap there. Just be careful about doing that under brakes, because some people will accidentally hit the rear of you, and you will get fired off if you did that. You shouldn't really move under braking at that point. Move, then stop, and then don't move again. But we do get on the inside there. They hit the wall, and we do get a position. So lap guide wise, turn 1, where the track sort of crosses over there, you're braking just after this. So as that disappears off the screen, then brake. Don't brake at it, brake just after it. There you go. We just brake at it. We lifted off the brakes a little bit there, which we shouldn't have done, because that actually forced us to go a little bit deep. But you'll, let's say, brake just after it and you'll be fine through that corner. You might want to short shift in an FF car as well into 3rd gear. I'm going to continue on through this fast left right-hander. It's flat out this, nice and easy, and you're aiming to get towards the right-hand side of the circuit here. Now, we've got 2 brake markers here. We've got the end of the curb there, and we've also got the tannoy system there. Now, I was actually trying to brake closer to the tannoy system, but the curb is a very sensible place to brake, because what you can do is just roll off the brakes then and just clip the inside here, and you will guarantee make the corner. In towards the sharp left-hander then, on the left-hand side, you've got the orange barrier there. As that ends, you're going to then brake and try and keep it very, very, very tight for this first part. This first part, it's more important to go slower and tighter than to go fast into it, because you want a nice line for this right-hander to go through it. As up ahead, we see carnage. I think that was somebody in the barrier, somebody going in the pits. I don't know why, but they head in there. Maybe it's a party, I don't know. But we'll talk about that little last corner in just a second as we catch up to the French driver. I don't know why I clapped then if you heard that. Happy days, we're clapping. In towards the hairpin we go. They give me enough room on the exit, and you see the Polish driver on the inside of the Ferrari there. And look at this. So both Scirocco's about to try and do the reverse Moses maneuver on the Ferrari. Now, I thought about this and was like, nah, I'll lift off this. I'll back out of this. I don't want to cause a crash and go 3 wide through there. We probably could have made it, to be honest with you. Bit of safe driving, but the French driver goes up the inside of the Ferrari. Oversteer there, so I back out that completely because I knew where the Ferrari was going. And yeah, we live to fight another day as the Bugatti comes in the background there. So through this right-hander, just be very careful. You want to sort of attack the corner, but be careful of that on the exit. That barrier kills people. It's actually hilarious. Although I'm going to show you a secret hack in a little bit, which I have no idea what happened. Anyway, the Ferrari was trying to get in the slipstream of the Scirocco, and we decided to go down the inside then. So showing the power of the Scirocco, and a beautiful clean move there. Ferrari gave me just enough room as well. Shout out to you, my friend. That was brilliant stuff. I think that was Rumpel there. Apologies, I can't actually see the name. So we're going to continue on out of here. We've caught up to the Scirocco now. And now this I don't really like. It's all this weaving nonsense. Just, what's the point? I hate it. I don't like it. I don't think it's very good sportsman-like stuff. I don't think it's very good racing either. However, the French driver does make up for it with some of the racing we're about to have. So we continue on out that corner. So there we go. We've got a little run alongside a low. It's a bit status quo. It's a bit of a evens there. So I'll pull in behind here. Let's see what we can do as we head up to the fast left-hander. Very hard to overtake when you're in a position like this. Because it's very easy to defend this as they do there. They go to the left. Brilliant defensive drive in there. And they're going to stop it there. So I can't really make the move at the moment. So in towards the hairpin then. I'm sort of showing my nose here to scare them a little bit. But they don't get scared at all. Beautiful bit of driving once again. A little bit of a net code issue. A bit of lag issue there. They must be on Wi-Fi, I'm sure, as we come through there. And once again, we're going to go into a bit of a weave here, which is very frustrating. Let's just carry on. And here we go then. So at this moment, I thought, okay, I don't want to be in the slipstream here. I want to be in the slipstream just after. So I pull back in here, but I didn't time it just right. Again, I still tapped them on the rear there. A little bit more back and then going in. I could have maybe gone for the move, but look at that. They carry so much speed through there. Brilliant stuff as we then head into the braking zone. And again, you want to keep it tight here to get a good run out this corner. Notice they're in the middle of the circuit here, so they're going to come through here. They're going to be slow off the exit. They're going to hit the barrier, and we hit them. I was expecting them to ghost, but we helped them. We make them survive. I mean, happy days. Look at that. It's giving a service here. I've no idea what happened, but we'll talk about that again in just a second as we head up towards the hairpin then, and they're on my inside here as we go in, and they've got a 1.5 second penalty for hitting the barrier then, and they're going to take that. As we continue on, we've got another person with a penalty up ahead. Let's catch up to them then as we progress onto the next lap. They just go a little bit deep there into that last corner. A lot of people doing that. As I say, they slower and tighter on the first part, so you get a good run out of that corner because you can just get the run like this. It's beautiful stuff. As we head down the inside of the Megane then, I brake early to make sure I don't run into them on the apex. They give me lots of room as well as we leave that corner then. Look at the rear view mirror now, because the same thing happens there with Shelty. They're ghosted, but Shelty still gets impacted by the ghost. Not sure what's happening today with the ghosting. It seems a bit odd, but I don't know. It is what it is. But Shelty, we advanced a bit further on, looking to get past me there. I stay in the middle of the road there as a defense because Shelty was too close then to go to the inside. Again, middle of the road. Shelty can't really get round onto the inside very easily. I was like, is Shelty going to go for it around the outside? Doesn't go for it around the outside. We go into that final corner, accelerate out. Happy days, third gear. We're going to end up in P8 then. So a good little race there with Shelty. Good little race with the French driver as well. So I just didn't like the weaving, but everything else was pretty golden to me. And you can have some good racing, just very hard to overtake, so just be careful. And yeah, some people ended up in the pits. No idea why. Let's head to race C then, where you don't need to pit. Welcome to Spa then, where your eyes are not deceiving you. It is a wet Spa, so this race, super duper tricky. You're going to have to be very, very, very careful here when you are racing. But we'll get into the race in just a second. Let's have a look at the race details first of all. We're racing 7 laps here at Spa. Even more so, it's a grid start with a false start check, so it's even worse. And we're on the racing wet tyres. It's ×2 and ×5 in terms of fuel and tyres. And that's all you need to know. In terms of car choice then, the NSX is very strong here in the wet. So that is the go-to car usually. Any MR car will sort of work. Lamborghini being very sketchy, of course. FR cars do not work here. Do not go in an FR car. Trust me, you're better in an MR car. Now, in terms of delivery on the Honda NSX, big shout out to GT_VGR645 for delivery. It looks very good indeed. Actually taken my Assetto Corsa number there with the 418. That's interesting. But big thank you for that. And it has Narnia on the front because, yeah, lots of people are going to head to that realm today. Let's jump to the race then and let's have a look exactly what happened. Here we are then at the start. As I say, grid start. This is very scary. But a lot of MR cars. A couple of people took the risk. Got a Viper in there. We've got a Corvette in there. We've got Subaru at the back as well. But trust me, MR car is the way to go. -5 on the brake balance I went. Some people may go to -3, but I use -5. Just a bit of safety here. Traction control on 1. Trust me, you need that. I use handbrake, as I say, in terms of grid starts because it's just let go rather than moving the brake pedal. And here we go then. So traction control there, and you can see it working hard there, very hard. And we turn it off just before we change gear, and off we go. So you can see Viper struggling there, dropping all the way down. But I'm going to back out of this early. I didn't really want to go for any dives early on. I figured I'd be quite quick here anyway because I'm British and it's raining. Happy days. Anyway, through here we go. You see 4 wide, 5 wide there even. Someone just appeared out of nowhere. We see Adept Sideman just goes all over the place here. And then we're going to have a Porsche just crash into me as they get crashed into as well. So we're up to P12 there from, I think we started P16, didn't we? We're getting 4 positions. But trust me, you're about to witness something absolutely wonderful. So up here we go. We're slower than normal here. But everybody is going to go to the right. So I go, okay. So they get a mistake. We've got somebody crashed here. Look at these positions. We get another and another and another. And we're all the way up to P6 on the Camel Straight. What a start this was. Unbelievable stuff. Even looking at P5 here, Mr. Selector, shout out to you as well. You said hello in the chat. Oh, a big shout out to you there as well. But we're going to just stop it there. Consta is literally off in the realms there. I don't know if he got rear-ended or not, but hey, you're up into the cursed one in half a lap. Not even half a lap, a quarter of a lap. What a start that is. So yeah, just be careful at the start. Side by side up Rouge Radion, very, very scary. I obviously didn't experience that, so I could carry much more speed and just overtake on the straight. But we're going to be looking to try and get past this GT Citroen then, or GT by Citroen as they call it, as we head into the left-hander. And you're already noticing very quickly the cars are very oversteer. Hey, speak of the devil, oversteery there, as we continue then towards P1. But don't worry, we'll have a lap guide a little bit later on. You've already seen that in the terms of the timestamps. So I'm taking it very safe here through this first lap. The reason being, when you've got dirty air plus rain, the car is very much more sketchy. You've got less rear downforce. The car wants to just spin everywhere. It's very, very difficult. So we've got Mr. Selector there. Went wide at P1. Just be very careful. So we're trying to get past the RCZ here. I was tempted to try and go around the outside at Blanchimont, but I was like, nah, let's not. You have to brake for Blanchimont as well. You might be able to get away with lifting and changing gear a little bit, but I'm braking just to be safe, and I'll explain that a little bit later on. So I'm looking down the inside of the Peugeot, but the Peugeot stops very well in a straight line here. It does get it stopped beautifully, and going to keep that P4 position for now. But the win is on the cards at the moment, folks. We're only 4 seconds off the win. How about this? We don't usually see this in Race C. But here we go. Anyway, start lap number 2 then. We're just going to fast forward a little bit here as we head up to Rouge and Radion as well. Again, a little bit of braking here. And 5th gear now. This is the hard part here because a lot of people are going in too quick to Rouge and therefore losing speed all the way down the Camel Straight. You notice there, I was slower at the first part, but I've nailed it down the Camel Straight. The Camel Straight is where you're going to make the moves. You want the run off the corner, not the run into the corner there. As we head down into the braking zone. Now, I knew the RCZ was going to stay on my inside, so I did brake it a little bit early, and I thought they would actually go too deep, but they didn't. So well held there by Data Davi there in the RCZ as we come through this right-hander then. And I'm looking to try and then get a run out the corner. I go full throttle here, and I do get a little bit of a run here. I am alongside at this point, and we go into the braking zone, and they just turn in just a little bit too early. It's only the tiniest bit, but that little small contact, awesome then to go wide. There was plenty of space there, but yeah, that was just as small as the contacts, but it was a good little race there with that Peugeot RCZ, so shout out to you there, Data Davi. And we're going to advance a bit further on then, because we can see up ahead, Lockdown Sausage there, just going a little bit too deep, what a name, a little bit too deep, and yeah, just coming back on at the chicane. So I was going for the cutback here. This was always going to happen, because then I can get straight and true and just absolutely dart out of that corner, and there we go, up into P3 then, at the end of lap 2, 2.5 seconds now to that race lead. So we catch up to Swede 2000 now, Sude 2000 in the Porsche, and I nearly rear-ended them there. They just go a little bit slower than I was expecting into this chicane, and you do have to be careful here. Lots of people are going to be braking in lots of different ways with oversteer, understeer, just everything everywhere. So braking early here is the safe thing to do when you're behind someone, so just do that please, because otherwise you're just going to rear-end them and they will literally get fired off into any realm. They will just continue to go. You saw the little contact between me and Data Davi there earlier on. It was the tiniest of touches. It was just racing, and the tiniest of touch, he just went out wide. Right, here we go then. We've got to run on the Porsche. So I'm looking down the inside here. I was hoping to scare them a little bit. It obviously worked there because they just let off completely. They didn't have to do that. I would have tried to keep it clean, of course, as you know with me. As we come through here then, up into P2. 1 second to go until that race lead. Let's see what we can do. And look at that. We leave La Source, and we're already in that tow already of Speedway Phoenix. As once again, we head up to our Rouge and Radion. As we come into here, again, look, I'm slower in this first part, and I accelerate through there in 5th gear. I use 5th because it's more stable. It's not the quickest. I think 4th might be quicker, but 5th definitely more stable. And you might be able to, by the end of the week, carry more speed in 5th gear through there once people are really used to it and fine-tuned it. So we've got a run here on the Porsche as we look just to see where the brake marker is. And they brake so early, I end up being in a dive here. And I have to brake really sharp because they turn in. I think they were scared that they were just going to get launched at the corner, so that's why they were turning in. But they did brake so early, I just went through, and that's why I slowed down a lot, because I didn't want them to think I was firing them off there. But we're in P1, and trust me, we advanced far away there at that point. Right, lap guide time, lap number 7. Turn 1, what you're going to do is as that barrier on the left goes away from you, that's when you're going to want to brake, just after that disappears there on the left-hand side. Now, in the NSX, you can do it in 2nd or 1st gear. I do it in 1st gear because I get a little bit more rotation. And the whole point of driving in the wet is you want to be straight and true before you go full throttle. That point, you won't get oversteer, the rear will plant down, and you should be able to accelerate away very nicely. So that is your goal here with the NSX, or racing in the rain. Now, we're actually using a brake marker here for the Rouge and Radion, which is unusual. So that 50-meter board, you might want to brake or you might want to lift. You can lift in time trial and you will make it. I brake a little bit here. My goal here is to try and get as close to 120 as possible through there. I can't do it as much in the in the race because of the heavy fuel. Obviously, we're in the wet, but the heavy fuel load, it means you will understeer a little bit more. It also stabilizes the car a little bit on exit, but you can do that in 5th gear without lifting. So just try that. Heading towards the end of the Camel Straight then. On the right side, we've got the 150 meter board, which is what I use in the race. And then we've got that lighter part of the barrier, which is what I'm trying to use in time trial. Basically, the closer you can get to that, obviously, the stronger your brakes are going to be. And one of the things under braking, as we go through these corners, I'm just going to balance the car here. One of the things you need to do with braking is stay in the higher gear for longer. So through here, balancing the car, 25%, 25%, 25%. And then I'm pretty much straight, and then it's 100%. I did 100s early then, got scared. Now, I'm going to stay in 3rd gear here. I will hit the limiter, but please hit the limiter. It's fine. Just after that 100-meter board disappears, that's when you're going to brake. And if you brake too late here, you're going to fly off. It's downhill, remember. So even remotely 5-meter braking late, you are going to go off. Be careful of that. 2nd gear, again, look at 50%, 50%, 50%. I'm straight, 100, up to 3rd gear. I then brake a little bit, and then I'm going to turn. So I brake first, then I'm turning where that flag marker is on the right-hand side. Literally, I'm going to lift and then just balance the car again. 25% if I can. No, I'm still slowing the car down there. 25, 25, 25. Then 100 when I'm straight, and off I go. And that's the kind of thing you're going to have to do. You're going to have to balance the car at 25% and just let the car roll in places. P1, we're braking so early here. So in the race, I was braking here. I was braking a little bit later, trying to get closer to that flag marker. You can't actually get on the flag marker in time trial, but it's close. But I'm going to stay in 4th gear. Again, this is all about balancing the car. 3rd gear, you're obviously higher in the revs, so it can accelerate better. 4th gear keeps the car stable. Look at the balancing of the throttle here. 50%, 50%, 100. I'm dropping it a little bit because I was slightly to oversteer. Then 100% again. I don't fully lift either. I want to just release the throttle a little bit so the car stops oversteering. As we get to the right-hander here, I'm using the edge of the gantry on the right-hand side. You can see I've just started braking now. And again, 3rd gear, and I'm just trying to slow the car down. So I trail brake a lot into this corner just to try and slow the car down as I turn. Again, 3rd gear throughout. Higher gears are better. Even under braking, don't use engine braking. Try and go for just actual braking. On the right-hand side, we've got that green Armco, which then goes into a solid barrier. Literally, as that Armco ends, that's when you're going to brake here. Now, I will use 2nd gear here. And going around the corner, I'm just letting the car roll. 25%, 25%, 50%, 50%. Now I'm straight, 100%. And then I'm going to lift off again, 3rd gear, up to 4th gear for the balance. Again, look at the balance of the throttle, then 100%, and off we go. This is how you drive in the wet in a Group 3 car. It's all about balance, straight and true. This is how you drive a GT3 car in real life, by the way. You point and go out of a corner. You don't drive it as we do in Gran Turismo as such. Or at least that's what David Perel says, and I agree with him because he's a GT3 racer. So here we have the tyre marks for Blanchimont. So I'm starting to lift at this moment. Now, when we go straight, I'm then going to brake. And I'm aiming once again for 120 miles an hour through this corner and then accelerate through once I am happy. Now, as we head towards the bus stop chicane, we're looking for this white line here. Now, it's very hard to see. So I'm braking a little bit early here. You want to get as close to that as you can and then hit the brakes. And obviously, you're going to brake in a straight line. Remember, stay in a higher gear. So notice I'm in 3rd gear, then 2nd gear. I'm not hitting the limiter, then 1st gear, clip this first part of the curb, accelerate a little bit, and then left part of the curb. Again, look at that, balancing, balancing, balancing. I'm straight, and then I can go out the corner. It's all about point and then go, point and then go. And then the whole point of the balancing the throttle, you're just maintaining a bit more apex speed and the balance of the car. So that is how you're going to have to drive in the wet. It's very hard to do, something you can practice throughout the week. But guess what? It will give you absolutely awesome car control, and it will help you in the future as well. That's going to be it for this week's weekly race guide. I hope you enjoyed it. And I won a race. I don't win very often on these because I start at the back, but happy days. We dominated that, to be fair, but Consta got the fastest lap. If you did like it, do hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay in touch with all the content. There's 2 videos there if you want to check them out. But that's it for this week. Enjoy your week, folks. Lots of content this week to keep your eyes peeled. But I'll see you in another video or live stream very soon.